Can you live off-grid while living in the city? That's what we're going to discuss today on the drive home. So, 99.9% of the time, the answer to that question is going to be a no. And there's a couple reasons for that. Number one, most cities and even medium-sized towns have ordinances, laws, rules in place, whatever you want to call them, that state if you have utilities to the edge of your property, then you must hook up to them. They have their own reasons. I'm not going to get into legalities or anything like that. But that's one reason. And another reason also has to do with laws and whatnot. A lot of places have a minimum size requirement for your lot in order to have a well and a septic system. And a lot of the places that I've seen, it seems like maybe 5 acres or something like that, 3 acres. But a lot of the cities and even medium-sized towns, if you have a 1/4 acre lot, they'll say that it's too small. There won't be enough safe distance and for away from the easements, the setbacks, and everything else, to where you can have a fully functioning septic system and a well on the same property. Now, there are ways that you can become semi-off-grid. Most places will allow you to put up some solar panels, put in a grid tie power inverter. It's an inverter that just it takes the power from your solar panels and hooks it basically right into your breaker box, and basically it matches the grid power, and you cut down your power usage from the grid. Instead, you'd be using the power produced from the solar panels. And in a lot of cases, if it gets to a point where during the day, maybe you're not home or something like that, and your solar panels are producing more power than you're using from the grid, it's actually feeding back into the grid. If you have the right kind of electrical meter, from the power company, and the power company allows it, they pay you for the electricity that you're producing, because that means that they don't have to get the electricity from where they're getting it from. Although most of the time they only pay you wholesale for your electricity. For example, say a hydroelectric power plant produces electricity and they sell it to your local utility company for 4 cents a kilowatt. Your local utility company tax on the cost onto that. They provide a service, they have employees to pay, that kind of stuff. Say they sell it to you for 7 cents a kilowatt or kilowatt hour, however it is. I haven't seen an electric bill in a while. But they sell that to you for 7 cents. Now, if it gets to the point where you take it down to 0 and then into the negative on your power usage, where you're actually feeding back into the grid, instead of paying the hydroelectric plant 4 cents per kilowatt, they pay you that 4 cents, and they credit that 4 cents onto your bill. Now, if you think that's kind of a jip, I personally do. I've heard of ways where you can add a battery bank, and when you're producing that much power, you can actually shut off power from the grid take the power that you're producing, and anything over what you're using will actually go into the battery bank for storage, and then you'd use that in the evening times, and then only use grid power in times that you need it. Yeah. Maybe it's a cloudy day, you're not getting a whole lot of power, your battery bank's pretty low, and you decide to use the hair dryer. Then all you're doing is paying for the usage of the hair dryer. And of course, once the sun comes back up, if you want to, you can feed that back on the grid to counteract that. I think it can get pretty complicated as far as that goes, but basically that'd be like a semi-off-grid setup to where you're just using solar power and batteries, and then the grid in case of emergencies. So basically there you have it, a short little video. Once again, most likely no, you're not going to be able to go off grid while living in the city or even medium-sized town. There are some small towns where you can still get enough land. They might let you go off grid. Call your county office, find out for sure. But if you have any questions, go ahead and leave them down in the comments section. And of course, if you like the series and want to keep up with all the questions and all the answers, hit the subscribe button. Hopefully here pretty soon I'll be able to start putting out my regular weekly videos. I'll start putting those back up on Fridays. And don't forget to hit the notifications icon so you don't miss a single video. Until next time, keep kicking up dust. For Shizzle.